former speaker is a member of APC.
So is he back now?
Yeah, he's back.
Former Speaker, House of Representatives formally dumps the People's Democratic Party for the ruling APC. Nigerian Air Force hands over 3 suspects involved in the death of female pilot to the police. Economic Empowerment National Directorate of Employment puts smiles on the faces of more than 1,000 women and youths in Sokoto.
11 of the children have been rescued and recovered by the agency during this preliminary investigation period.
Plus, National Agency for the Prohibition of Persons in Trafficking apprehends child trafficker. Hello and welcome to the news on NTA. I am Juma Yusuf, who want to use this platform to commend all those involved in the containment of COVID-19. Observance of safety guidelines is also key. Let's join hands with the government to build a healthy nation. Tonight, I'll be reading with Jennifer Igwe in Lagos, and Mohammed Ibrahim will be joining us from Maiduguri. Thanks so much for joining us. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has resolved to do everything within its power towards mitigating political crisis in the Republic of Mali. To this end, an extraordinary meeting of heads of state and government of the sub-regional organization is to be held on Monday next week to further deliberate on issues raised at Bamako mediation talks with a view to finding lasting solutions. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that President Muhammadu Buhari, who participated in the peace talks, is back in Abuja.
The coronavirus pandemic notwithstanding, President Muhammadu Buhari and 4 other West African leaders converged on Bamako, the Republic of Mali, on a crucial mission critical to peace, security, sustainable democracy and development in the West African nation. Their engagement was in furtherance of the ECOWAS mediation mission led by Dr. Goodluck Jonathan to broker peace and compromise amongst the political actors. Therefore, apart from listening to a formal briefing by the former President Goodluck Jonathan on the ECOWAS mediation efforts, President Muhammadu Buhari and his counterparts from Niger, Ghana, Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire held talks with the leader of the opposition, Imam Mahamoud Dicko, representatives of the Opposition Alliance, M5 and the civil society organizations. The host president, Ibrahim also briefed the heads of state and government on the socio-political situation in the country, especially the disagreements that spiraled into protest and violence. ECOWAS chairman and president of Niger, Muhammadu Isufu, who briefed journalists after the talks that lasted more than 8 hours, said the sub-regional leaders have agreed that there would be need for a compromise to protect the peace and integrity of the West African nation. He emphasized that allowing a political crisis to fester in Mali would affect the security situation in West Africa, especially the neighboring countries. President Isufu expressed optimism that a forthcoming extraordinary meeting of the ECOWAS leaders on Monday will chart the best way forward. Also speaking, Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo explained, however, that the ECOWAS protocol would be followed. He maintained that the tenet of democracy adopted by the sub-regional body clearly spells out that a president can only be voted into power and voted out by election except he completes his tenure. The Ghanaian leader noted that the protocol would be adhered to towards ensuring safety and peace in the sub-region. President Muhammadu Buhari, who has returned to Abuja in the early hours of Friday, was received at the airport by FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello, Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, Director General, Department of State Services, Yusuf Magaji Bichi, and other senior government officials. In Abuja, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Talking politics now, former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, has formally dumped the PDP, a party on whose platform he got re-elected into the Green Chamber of the National Assembly. He is now a member of the governing APC. The Chairman, Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee of the APC and Governor of Yobe State, Mai Mala Buni, disclosed this while briefing journalists after an audience with President Muhammadu Buhari. Let's join State House correspondent Adamu Sambo for details.
The former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, who left the governing party in the build-up to the last general elections, was granted audience by President Muhammadu Buhari. He was accompanied to the State House by the Chairman, Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee of the APC, Governor Mai Mala Buni of Yobe State. The meeting with the President lasted about 30 minutes, after which the Yobe State Governor spoke to newsmen.
We are here to see Mr. President and brief him on our effort rebuilding the party.
People may be surprised to see you with the former Speaker.
Well, they shouldn't be surprised because the former Speaker is a member of APC. And
what do you mean is?
He is because the reason for which he left the APC is no more there.
So is he back now?
Yeah, he's back.
So what did the President say?
No, he welcomed him. He's happy with the development. That's what he's looking for. Yeah, we are rebuilding the party and these are the steps we are taking towards rebuilding the party.
So how far are you going to go to get everybody back into the party?
Well, we are meeting all our aggrieved members, particularly who have interest in coming back to the party. They should feel free to do so.
What assurance are you going to give to the returnees that they are going to be given fair treatment once?
Well, we will do justice to all our members, and that's what will bring peace. That is what will guarantee peaceful coexistence. That is what will guarantee the consolidation of the party, the rebuilding of the party. Without doing justice, you cannot achieve that, and we are sure of doing justice to all manner of our members.
Part of 2023 strategy?
Well, of course, not only 2023 strategy. This party, we are rebuilding the party to outlive all of us. It's not about a specific time or period. It's not about election. It's not about electioneering. It is about building a party.
The former Speaker, Mr. Yakubu Dogara, did not say much on the development when confronted by NTA News.
I will talk at the appropriate time. Don't worry yourself.
Yeah, but are you back in APC?
Don't ask me any question. I won't answer. I said I will talk. I have my mouth now. I will talk at the appropriate time.
Mr. Yakubu Dogara is currently a member of the House of Representatives representing Bogoro Das Tafawa Balewa Federal Constituency in Bauchi State, won on the platform of the PDP. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The All Progressives Congress has advised the opposition People's Democratic Party to remain quiet while the Buhari-led administration clears the wrath they foisted on the country. A statement by APC Deputy National Publicity Secretary Yakini Nabina said Nigeria deserves a vibrant, purposeful and credible opposition, not the kind being practiced by the PDP. The APC says it is particularly gladdened by the return of the former Speaker of the House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara to the APC under the focused and sincere leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari. Nigeria is witnessing positive transformation on key electoral promises of securing the nation, fighting corruption, improving the economy and livelihoods. The statement added that meanwhile, the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Uche Secondus, in a statement says the unveiling of some alleged cases of corruption going on in the country must be supported by the media as complementary role to government anti-corruption fight. Now, as part of preparations for the upcoming Ondo State governorship polls, the Southwest leaders of the governing All Progressives Congress APC have met in Osogbo to strategize towards attaining victory at the polls come October 10th. Correspondent Joshua Ogunjide reports that the regional meeting was hosted by Governor Boyega Oyotola in Osogbo.
Vanguards of the ruling All Progressive Congress APC, Southwest leaders of the party met in Osogbo to deliberate on issues arising within the party. As a member of the National Caretaker Committee of the APC representing the interests of Southwest Nigeria, Governor Buego Itola affirms that it is crucial to make the party formidable ahead of the October 10 Ondo governorship election. Also, there is need to reconcile aggrieved leaders as well as aspirants within the party in order to return to winning path.
We give all the support to ensure that we do not lose Ondo and we win Edo. Those are the major things that preoccupy the mind of the party generally and particularly in Southwest.
As at today, the National Caretaker Committee that was constituted had Alhaji Boyega, the governor of Osun State, as the representative of the Southwest. And as such, he remains the chairman, the leader of the APC Southwest Caucus.
The previous caucus meeting of the APC held earlier this year in February under the leadership of the defunct National Working Committee. In Osogbo, Joshua Ogujide, NTA News.
To other matters now, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development have observed a rally at the National Assembly, which later proceeded to the Federal Secretariat complex. The protesters claim to be representatives of the federal government's N-Power beneficiaries about to be exited. In a statement released by the ministry, the protesters requested the federal government to employ all the 500,000 beneficiaries as well as pay them a grant of 600,000 naira each. The ministry wishes to state that this demand was not part of the agreement of engagement they signed with the federal government, which clearly stipulated that they will be exited after 2 years. The statement further adds that the government cannot afford the 300 billion naira they were asking for as grant. It is noteworthy to state that the federal government has expended hundreds of billions to empower beneficiaries during the last 4 years and is liaising with the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, which is responsible for the payment of their stipends to ensure that any outstanding legitimate claim is settled. The FG cannot afford to continue to pay the exited N-Power beneficiary stipends indefinitely, more so that the process of engagement of new beneficiaries has already begun. The ministry, even though it is not a lending agency, is in contact with other ministries, departments and agencies such as CBN and NALDA to see if the exited beneficiaries can key into their empowerment programs. The coming on stream of the Ajakuta Steel Company before the end of 2023 is non-negotiable. Senate Leader Yahaya Abdullahi, who led a federal government assessment team to the facility, gave the assurance. Mayor Ogidi reports.
Most of the plant is actually under the ground.
Ajakuta Steel Company, a child still crawling at 41, an inactive plant hosting active staff. Lamido Bello did not make good use of his youthful age, and Ajakuta Steel is to be blamed.
I joined this company in 87 February. Then you can see my head now. My youthful age, I use it here.
The frequency of visits to this plant is high. Here is another from the Senate and the Minister of Mines and Steel Development with promises to make this 41-year-old child crawling to work.
We hope within the next 3 years, this particular plant will start production.
Quietness replaces noise in a complex sitting on 4,000 hectares of land, hosting 10,000 housing units, 60 kilometers of road crisscrossing and 3 airstrips, as well as over 45 factories ranging from power plant, steel, metal, among others.
Within the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, before he leaves office in 2023, that we should achieve Ajakuta by the grace of God.
The Finance Committee is engaging the Afrexim Bank and the Russian Trade Center that made some pledge of $1 billion and $0.45 million. So it's a different regime. We've never gone any this far before.
There is this school of thought that says life begins at 40. And if that school of thought is anything to go by, then Ajakuta, that is 41 years old this year, 2020, has just begun his life. Now we have a federal government delegation to activate this plant. Nigerians and the world is waiting to see whether this dream of attaining 40 before beginning its own life will this time around will come to pass. Mayor Ogede, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has described as disturbing alleged resignation of more than 300 soldiers of the Nigerian Army. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that an investigation has been instituted on the matter.
Security breaches in parts of the country have kept the armed forces on alert, says the House Committee on Army, which has been mandated to conduct the investigation. Chairman of the committee noted that the parliament is conversant with workings and procedure in the military, but that it needs information on the situation.
I want to assure Nigerians is going to be the real outcome. It's not going to be speculations again. We are going to give Nigerians the real reason why 356 soldiers have resigned, or either they are more or they are less than that number. It is investigation that is going to reveal that.
The Chief of Civil Military Relations, Nigerian Army, promised cooperation with the committee. The meeting went into closed door. In another development, Chairman of the House Ad Hoc Committee on the need to relocate tank farms from residential areas is to visit Lagos to engage stakeholders. Chairman of the committee, Representative Sajo Sogun, during an investigative hearing says the safety of lives and property should come above every other consideration, citing loss of lives during fire incidences.
The tank farms located in the residential areas of Ijegun, Kirikiri and others is a huge disaster waiting to happen and commit.
Among stakeholders at the hearing were the Department of Petroleum Resources, Association of Ijegun Satellite Town Forum, Nigerian Ports Authority, and Association of Tank Farm Owners. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
3 persons allegedly responsible for the death of the first female combat helicopter pilot, flying officer Tolulope Arotile, have been handed over to the Nigerian police for further investigation. Achri Maxwell reports.
Officers and men of the Nigeria police arrived at the Air Force Base Kaduna to formally receive the 3 suspects accused of culpability over the death of flying officer Tolulope Arotile. Group Captain Hadi Ahmad, who handed them over, says the Nigerian Air Force will continue to liaise with the police to do justice to the matter.
During a press conference on Sunday, 19th July 2020, the Nigerian Air Force informed Nigerians that the 3 persons involved in the accident were detained at the number 1 Air Provost Wing 453 Base Services Group, Nigeria Air Force, Kaduna. We've received 3 suspects in connection to the case, and the vehicle involved, that is the exhibit.
The suspect, who on that fateful day drove in an SUV, claimed to be in the Air Force Base to visit the wife of a serving officer. The deceased reportedly died when their reversing vehicle hit her, as a result of which she hit her head on the pavement in the Air Force Base in Kaduna. Achari Maxwell, NTA News.
Troops of Operation Hadarin Daji have liberated 32 kidnapped victims from criminal hangouts at Tomin village in local government area of Benue State. The coordinator of Defense Media Operations, Major General John Enete, disclosed this at a news briefing conference in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
This is the periodic platform that updates the public on major ongoing operations of the defense headquarters.
Following credible intelligence on the activities of kidnappers in the general area, troops had contact with the bandits and neutralized the ringleader, one Zua Ike, while others escaped with various degrees of gunshot wounds. Troops also rescued 32 kidnapped victims, some of whom had been in captivity for over a month.
Highlighting the progress of Operation Hadarin Daji that spanned through the Northwest, the coordinator of Defense Media Operations, Major General John Enenche, notes that 17 bandits were eliminated during a clearance operation, while 6 Boko Haram terrorists killed in the Northeast.
Between 17th and 20th of June 2020, the land component of Operation Lafia Adole successfully conducted intelligence-based clearance operations that dealt devastating blows on the BHT and ASPA terrorist elements in some parts of the Northeast. The operations led to the neutralization of 6 BHT members attempting to cross from the Cameroon border towards Sambisa Aziz in Borno State.
The defense headquarters appealed to the public to provide credible and timely information to enhance ongoing operations across the country. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. More reports when we return. Thanks for rejoining us. The presidency has reacted to the statement credited to PDP chairman Uche Secondus. In a statement, the presidency says the PDP would have liked the president to not investigate nor allow audits and investigation into several agencies of government, including the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, but to cover things up. It says that in a democracy, an opposition party is as critical to the system as a ruling party, but the opposition appears to be trading away the nation's democratic values. The statement says President Buhari will not resign because he is determined to continue the crusade against corruption. Both legacy and recently unearthed cases that are found to be shabbily handled and in some cases unattended to by past administrations. The presidency notes that the National Assembly, by virtue of its right to conduct its oversight function, is currently carrying out own investigations. Additionally, the security and intelligence agencies are equally doing their part and must be given the time and space to conclude their work and present their reports. The PDP, it says, cannot scare the government from probing the grave allegations made against MDAs and their chiefs, because failure to do so will amount to a historical betrayal of public trust. Youth in Ogun State are taking advantage of the opportunities provided by the period of coronavirus pandemic to acquire extra skills courtesy of the federal government through the National Directorate of Employment.
It has been established over time that the war against coronavirus is a collective one which requires collaboration from all, agencies inclusive. This informed the decision of the National Directorate of Employment, Ogun State, to organize 2 weeks intensive training on face mask production. The 50 beneficiaries drawn across the 20 local government areas of the state produced a total of 20,000 safety face masks to further assist the state government in its effort to fight the scourge to stand still.
I can say now I can sew at least 50 face masks in a day. I learned so many things in this program.
The state coordinator noted that the agency, having equipped the beneficiaries with the necessary skills, is optimistic that they are ready to contribute their quota to socio-economic development of the nation.
They have chosen fashion designing as their own choice of skills to be trained in. And we have capable hands, master craftsmen and women that are training them. Those are our trainers, and they're doing it very well. And I can show you, the trainers are giving them the best that is available.
Face masks, presently at the packaging stage, will be presented to the state government soon.
Kebbi State Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu has commended the National Refugees Commission for the distribution of relief materials to internally displaced persons in the state. The governor briefed journalists after a closed-door meeting with the officials of the commission in Abuja.
Observation of these non-pharmaceutical COVID-19 protocols set the stage for a closed-door meeting, which outcome is kept confidential. However, Governor Atiku Bagudu noted that any success recorded in the management and provision for IDPs so far is largely as a result of President Muhammadu Buhari's commitment to uplifting the poor and vulnerable.
President Muhammadu Buhari's administration recognized this, and that's why we are putting competent people to run the commission. And a few years ago, 2 years ago, under the National Food Security Council, President Muhammadu Buhari approved a spending of close to 12 billion naira to support 7 states that are affected by conflict and have significant internally displaced person populations.
The National Commissioner expressed the desire of the Commission to not only give relief materials to victims, but also resettle and empower them.
And on security, Kano State Police Command has arrested more than 392 suspects with informants for various criminal offences ranging from armed robbery to kidnapping. The State Commissioner of Police, Habu, who stated this while parading the suspect, says the command also rescued a 73-year-old man who was kidnapped by a criminal gang spearheaded by his house help. Awal Salisu has details.
The command, through its Operation Puff Adder,
attached to anti-kidnapping squad succeeded in arresting a syndicate that terrorized Kano, Jigawa and Katsina states. This effort also led to the rescue of a 73-year-old Lawan Abdullahi, who was kidnapped by the syndicate masterminded by his houseboy.
I was hit with the car and they covered my mouth. I then started screaming for help. It's his houseboy that invited us. He said if we do it, we'll get something.
We kidnapped my master and we asked for 4 million. I will not do it again.
The suspected kidnappers allegedly collected the ransom of 4 million naira from his master's family before he was rescued by the police.
Of these major crimes, particularly the kidnapping cases, uncompleted buildings are rented apartments were used to keep these victims. As such, the good people of Kano State should be very much wary of their environment.
Others paraded by the command include 30 armed robbery suspects, 15 drug dealers and 312 thugs, in which 23 stolen cars, rifles and ammunition, as well as illicit drugs worth millions of naira were recovered. Kano State Commissioner of Police Abu Sani said he is resolute reading the state of all criminal elements. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
The popular saying that many days for the thief and one day for the owner played out in Abuja as luck ran out on a child trafficker who operates an orphanage in Chikuku, Kuje Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory. He has been arrested by operatives of the DSS. Elizabeth Omori has a report.
The city of Abuja is that serene environment, but in this lies a known suspect who specializes in trafficking children. Earlier this month, the arm of the law caught up with this 45-year-old woman who allegedly collected 74 children, claiming to foster them at her orphanage in Kuje Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory.
With one habila that make me to know the children. I have never met their parents. I have my area council certificate. The area council is aware of my orphanage going on.
Investigations by NAPTIP, concerned body in such matters, show that 25 of the children are in Suleja, Niger State, 24 in Abuja, 5 in Enugu, 10 others in Owerri, 6 in Lagos, and 2 others each in Kaduna and Anambra states.
The suspect carries out these activities with the collaboration of some of our workers in the orphanage who are now on the run. 11 of the children have been rescued and recovered by the agency during this preliminary investigation period.
He tell us say we go carry children go school. We go come they see the children. Now if you go, we know they see the children.
Past 2 years, I have not seen my pikin.
NAPTIP says it has opened discussion with other relevant agencies to rescue more children. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari sends birthday greetings to Ambassador Walter Carrington as he marks his 93rd birthday. The president wishes to use this opportunity to put on record his personal appreciation and that of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the extraordinary support of the ambassador for democratic causes in Nigeria and around the globe. The president notes in particular the support of Ambassador Carrington and those of other patriots, including the National Democratic Coalition for June 12 political cause in Nigeria. He adds that their efforts impacted on the resolution achieved under this administration with the recognition of Chief MQ Abiola's victory and apology rendered by the nation for the injustice done to him, as well as the naming of a federal monument after him. President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with Major General IBM Haruna, a retired military officer and former Federal Commissioner of Information, on his 80th birthday. In a letter to the former General Officer commanding 1 Division, Kaduna, personally signed by President Muhammadu Buhari, he describes him as one that has impacted the country in diverse ways, noting that he deserves all the accolades that comes his way as he attains this landmark age. The president lauded Major General Haruna for the role he played towards establishment of the Nigerian Television Authority (NTA) and News Agency of Nigeria (NAN) during his tenure as Federal Commissioner for Information between 1975 and 1977, as well as his role as Chairman Festival of Arts and Culture Festac 77, and wishes him continued health, strength and sound mind. Time now to take a breather here and join Jennifer in Lagos for more reports. Hello, Jenny.
Thank you, Jumai. Now, the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing has assured Lagos residents that the likely challenges due to the partial closure of the Third Mainland Bridge will be minimal. The ministry gave the assurance during an inspection of the bridge in preparation for the closure scheduled to begin at the stroke of midnight Friday, July 24. Dr. Oguyemi has the report.
With plans already set for the closure of the Third Mainland Bridge at midnight today, 24th July 2020. This high-powered delegation from the federal and state government is out to inspect some of the plans already put in place in terms of road diversions, the traffic management personnel, as well as some of the alternative routes were also inspected. And earlier, they were at a stakeholders conference where a meeting held, and some of these issues were highlighted. As the busiest bridge in Lagos shuts down for necessary repairs, motorists have been urged not to entertain any worries, as traffic disruption will only affect about 25% of regular traffic plying the bridge.
The Third Mainland Bridge will be available for traffic at the peak period, both in the morning and in the evening. So the few vehicles that will be going off peak will now have to make use of all the alternatives that have been given out to the public.
We understand that there are more people in Lagos, and so you have the Kata Bridge option, you have the Eko Bridge option, you have the Costain option, and then to add to that, you have the water transport option, which we're making available.
This is one of the jetties just newly placed there for ease of traffic.
While traffic managers have mapped out their plans, the State Police Command says officers will be deployed to ensure 24 hours surveillance to prevent any crime.
Our men are out. We have given them motorcycles. The Commissioner of Police has reiterated and directed that the DPOs, their men, must be out 24/7.
We're going to run 2 shifts, and of course, most of these things will be a 24-hour thing, because even at night, you still need to be sure that people are guided properly.
And it is at this junction of Adekule that motorists who have been diverted from Adeniji would now be able to interchange and continue on their journey towards Owodoshoki, while those who would have been diverted from the Adekule end of Yaba would also be able to continue on their journey via the access ramp to Owodoshoki throughout the period of the partial closure. In Lagos, Dotun Oguyemi, NTA News.
Away from road transportation, now occupants of a 3-story building at number 95 Cemetery Street in Lagos mainland are still in shock and counting their losses after the building collapsed on Friday morning. Abolade Salami reports.
Up till now, the cause of the collapse is yet to be identified. Why one of the occupants, an elderly woman, could only cry out of fear and frustration. Some were bold enough to give accounts of events preceding the collapse.
My mom was sitting down outside there. I just called her that, see, something is happening inside. So she now said, no problem. I said, no, you must come out. So I shouted. One woman on the first floor had my voice when I was shouting. So the woman now said, what is happening? I said, calm down. This house is going to collapse. So when the woman came down, it wasn't up to 5 minutes, then everything just went down. Yeah. But I have a lot of stuff that I can't even picture, but at least I'm grateful for life.
Just as the injured victim receives treatment at the hospital, emergency responders have cordoned off the area, while adjacent buildings were checked for any possible damage.
After a thorough search and rescue operations, we discovered that there was none actually trapped in the debris.
It has 7 flats where people reside, 7 flats and 2 shops with estimated number of people of about 13 families. That's what we have so far.
But we now need to bring the building down completely to ensure that the area is safe for everybody.
This incident serves as a reminder of the urgency to review buildings on Cemetery Street, Lagos, to confirm their integrity status to prevent future calamities. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. We'll pause here for a break. Jumai will continue in Abuja afterwards. Stay tuned.
The risk of illness-causing germs is increasing. It is believed that the coronavirus can remain on surfaces in your home for up to 9 days. Touching infected surfaces is one of the ways in which germs spread. Regularly disinfect your floors, countertops, and kitchen surfaces with bleach, and use an effective toilet cleaner inside and outside your toilet bowl. This message is brought to you by Medifact, Jig, and Harpic.
One tonight, the Attorney General of the Federation speaks.
As far as this government is concerned, no fear or favor as far as prosecution of cases related, high-profile cases are concerned.
But the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice is a powerful one, isn't it?
The Abubakar Malami you are seeing here today is concerned. I have never ever, in the course of my duties as the Attorney General during the first term and second term, exercised the power of Noli.
One-on-one.
Premier League Live this Sunday from 3:30 p.m. on the NTA network. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank and Babai Jebu.
It's good to know you're still there. The Nigeria police has arrested one of its men and a civilian involved in the dehumanizing treatment of a female citizen in a viral video. The police in a statement says the two persons arrested are Corporal Ayedun Akim and one Ope Oye, the civilian accomplice popularly known as Wycliffe. It will be recalled that ASP Tijani Olatunji and Inspector Boyega were earlier arrested for their alleged involvement in the case. Meanwhile, police detectives from the state CID Panti Yaba, Lagos have established contact with the victims with assurance that the perpetrators will face the full wrath of the law. The federal government has intensified efforts to reduce unemployment and poverty across the country. In Sokoto State, 1,330 women and youths were trained by the NDE and supported with loans under the Micro Enterprise Enhancement Loan Scheme to make their businesses more productive. Dalhatu Abdullahi has more.
The 1,330 beneficiaries were selected from the 23 local government areas of Sokoto State. The aim is to reduce the challenges of unemployment and poverty in the country. The loans disbursed are also meant to augment the required operational cost of the beneficiaries as well as make their businesses more productive and efficient.
We discovered that many people run businesses without making profit, and the issue is lack of knowledge or ignorance. So we bring them in, we do this training, and then when there's any opportunity to give them loans or empower them in any way, we bring them in for empowerment.
The wife of the Minister of Police Affairs, Hajia Hajra Megredingadi, said the loan scheme is targeted at operators of micro enterprises and businesses within the informal sector of the economy.
Buhari led administration is trying his best, and for now you can see this loan has been given to all states.
The beneficiaries promised to make the best use of the opportunity and the support provided. The National Directorate of Employment is a federal government agency working with other stakeholders to fight the menace of unemployment and poverty in Nigeria. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Ago, 3 lives were lost to a petroleum tanker accident around Koko Junction in Ubenu community of Ethiopia West local government area of Delta State. However, the deplorable nature of the section of the Warri-Benin Expressway, which is strategic to the transportation of petroleum products, is raising serious concern towards averting future tragedy. Austin Idemodo has an update of the report, which contains some offensive images. Viewers' discretion is advised.
of articulated vehicles, mostly conveying petroleum products, navigating through the bad portion of the worried Benin-Seple highway.
When there was a vehicle breakdown on this road, it took us more than close to 11 hours to navigate from Oko to Benin.
Few days ago, one of these trucks loaded with petroleum products fell into the death trap, and the resultant explosion was devastating. Emmanuel Obakboro has an account of that day's incident.
I did my house here. Then we just say I can fall for front that side. Now we just hear expression. Boo!
The intervention of the men of the State Fire Service did little to save the situation, as the accident left got a sight of charred body and vehicles. Unfortunately, the tragic situation turned out to be a looting spree for some persons. However, the State Road Safety Command has put the casualty figures at 3 against the earlier speculated 22 victims.
You cannot count invisible bodies. If a person was burnt to death, the corpse must be visible.
We want to appeal to federal government and the state government to come and repair the road.
For the authorities concerned, this could be a wake-up call for the needful action to be taken on the deplorable road to avoid further tragedies. I'm Austin Ejemodu, NTA News.
Let's now head to Maiduguri, where Mohammed Ibrahim is standing by with more reports. Hello, Mohammed.
Thank you, Juma, and welcome to Maiduguri. About 180 vulnerable women across Borno State have benefited from COVID-19 palliative as part of efforts to cushion the effect of the outbreak of coronavirus pandemic. Yagun Subuka reports that the items were donated by the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs in collaboration with UN Women.
The beneficiaries of the COVID-19 palliative were mostly widows, aged, disabled women, orphans, and other vulnerable groups across the state. Borno is among the 14 states selected to benefit from the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs palliative, with the aim of cushioning the hardship faced by women as the country battles with COVID-19. The vulnerable women appreciated the honor done them by the ministry and UN Women, saying the items will no doubt assist in feeding their families. Flagging of the distribution of the palliative, Commissioner for Women Affairs, in a message of the Minister for Women Affairs, Pauline Talent, said she sympathized with the women of Borno over the effect of COVID-19, hence the donation of the food items, and urged them to maintain a healthy living as the virus is real. Each of 180 vulnerable women went home with a carton of noodles, seasoning, palm oil, and a package each of rice, beans, as well as minced meat. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
As the rains, usually accompanied by windstorm, increasingly become more intense, various internally displaced persons camps across Maiduguri, Borno State capital, have been affected by flood and the windstorm. Abubakar Mohamed Musa visited some of the camps on assessment of damages with officials of the Borno State Emergency Management Agency.
The destruction to the IDP's camps as a result of the flood and windstorm experienced recently was devastating, as in one of the camps, about 3,574 households were affected, in addition to more than 50 tents and 4 toilets destroyed. During a similar assessment carried out at the Muhammad Buhari IDP's camp, situated within the host community, the executive chairman of Borno State Emergency Management Agency, Yaba Okolo, frowned at the substandard tents used in erecting the structures, thereby making it easy to be destroyed. Commiserating with the internally displaced persons over the disaster, Yaba Okolo assured them of government support and determination to return them to their original places of abode, with improvement in security situation.
The collapse of the latrine is a great concern to us, because so that it will not mix with the water points. So far so good. Due to some of the initiative that we have taken, we have draining machines that used to drain the water when it is over locked areas, and also we also created some water pathways. So these are some of the initiatives that has actually assisted us in reducing the impact of the damages on the residents in the camps.
She promised to present a report of the assessment visit to government for prompt action to be taken, especially the food items lost to the disaster in Maiduguri. Abubakar Mohammed Musa, NTA News.
Time for another commercial break. Network news continues shortly.
Nigerians, let us take responsibility. Stay healthy, stay safe, and curb the spread of the virus. Take responsibility. The coronavirus spreads from one person to another. Let us avoid crowd gathering of any kind for any reason. Take responsibility. Avoid traveling from one state to another during these lockdown restrictions. Obey all the rules that are put in place. Take responsibility. Stop spreading fake news and unverified reports about the coronavirus. There is no known cure for COVID-19. Take responsibility. Observe all the measures that can help stop the spread of the virus. Together, we can do this, but only if we take responsibility. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Welcome back. More cancellations as COVID-19 continues to hit global sports. Ayodeji Makinde tells us more on Sports Update.
Following the unveiling of Imama Amapakabo as their new coach, Abia Warriors Football Club of Umuahia says it is working towards achieving the ultimate results come next season, having avoided relegation since 2013.
For us, I think it's something to celebrate, and that's why we say that this time we really want to deliberately contest for honors, because football is about winning, but above all is business, and that's why we look at young players, marketable players.
Curtain is set to fall on the 2019-2020 season of English Premier League with 10 matches to be decided on Sunday. The fixture between Leicester City and Manchester United will be broadcast live on the NTA at 4 p.m, while studio discussion opens at 3:30 p.m.
Man, you put one thing or the other, they will still remain their third or fourth position, because I believe if care is not taken, Wolf will beat Chelsea on that very day.
In other fixtures, winners Liverpool visit Newcastle United, Chelsea welcome Wolves at the Stamford Bridge, Manchester City host relegated Norwich City, while Arsenal await Watford at the Emirates. Depending on final results and adjustments at the bottom of the table, Aston Villa, Watford and Bournemouth face relegation from the league. In tennis, 11 more tournaments across the ATP and WTA tours have been cancelled after China announced it would hold no sporting events for the rest of 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. 7 tournaments on the WTA tour have been cancelled, including November's WTA finals in Shenzhen, while on the ATP tour, the Shanghai Masters is the most high-profile event to have been called off. In Abuja, Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
And on a sad note, President Muhammadu Buhari has extended his deepest condolences to President John Magufuli, the government and people of Tanzania on the passing away of former President Benjamin Mkapa. He described the deceased as a global statesman and an icon of peace who will be remembered for his outstanding works alongside other notable African leaders to bring long-lasting peace and stability to East, Central and the Great Lakes regions in Africa during very difficult times. President Buhari prayed God to comfort the late president's family and the people of Tanzania in their period of grief. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has described late Dr. Olufemi Ayodeji Ogunshola, a former Kwara State Commissioner who died on Thursday, as a steadfast and dependable ally who dedicated his life to serving his people. In a statement by Special Assistant to the President on Media, Office of the Minister of Information and Culture, Segun Adeyemi, the minister said he was deeply shocked and saddened by the death of Dr. Ogunshola, a scholar and an astute politician who also served as commissioner with the Federal Character Commission. He condoled with the government and people of Kwara State and urged the family and friends to take solace in the fact that he lived a fulfilled life and served his people to the best of his ability. The minister prayed God to grant repose to the soul of the departed and to give the family he left behind the fortitude to bear the loss. Now a look at the weather for tomorrow. Okay, now before we go, weather will be coming. Before we go, here's a public service announcement. And that's Network News tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Do have a wonderful weekend. I am Juma Yusuf.